Hey everybody, we are back at the tavern. It's been a while. I feel like it's been forever, but no, here at Tavern Talks, we are here to this week to talk about what happened last week, which was the big old Gen Con. And I've got my co-host here, of course, Corey, who dressed up like a crazy looking jester person the entire week, or well, the one day, which was hilarious. And then I also have a wonderful friend of ours who I got to meet, and he is the salt of the earth. So we have Casey here from GUI Cube, and we're just going to talk Gen Con this weekend. We're going to show people what we got, what we saw, the people we met, the experiences we had, and it's just going to be a fun little chat. And of course, tonight is going to be mostly a channel free point. So gather your channel points. You don't need to use them. If you have questions, throw them up in the chat. And we're going to talk about our experiences. So guys, are you excited to be back at the tavern? Because I know I am. Though Gen Con was a lot of fun, not going to lie.
I'm excited to be in the tavern. I've seen it. I just haven't had a chance to come in and sit down and have a drink with y'all and talk some nerd talk.
Yeah, no, the nerd talk's a blast.
Thanks for joining us. If I fall asleep, it's because I haven't recovered from Gen Con.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Gen Con was crazy. I think
4 days post, we're tired.
I think we put up sometimes 15-hour days between working and just running around like crazy people. It was rough. At least.
That was a short day.
Yeah.
15 hours was probably a short day.
Yeah. But
between.
So for people who've never been to a big con, Corey's super quiet. Let's crank Corey up a little bit here. Thank you for people to let me know these things. All right, let's see if that works a little better. So, Corey.
Oh, I'm talking. How am I quiet now? How's this?
All right, awesome.
Yep, good.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
Good.
Awesome. So, yeah, guys, if you've never been to a big con like this, it is a intense. It's much different though when you're actually working it. This is my first Gen Con, but this was also my first time working a con, and there is definitely a big difference. I got the luxury to work with GUI Cube the entire weekend. We ran games, and just a quick shout out. How much fun was it to finally play in person a D&D game? I've been playing for almost 2 years now outside of it or online. It was so much different, but it was so much fun.
It was fun to see the smiles on people's faces when they got that taste of being around a table and having that face-to-face camaraderie ship and the excitement of just slinging the dice and seeing where it goes and you feel the energy when you're sitting around that table. But when you have probably 40,000 or more other people within the complex walking around in all sorts of costumes and just the energy level was so high when we started on Thursday, because everybody was finally back in the saddle. And I've never been to a MegaCon. I've been to plenty of game conventions, and they're a lot of fun and stuff. But I was like a kid in a candy store. I could not contain my emotion, and I'm walking just down the hallway, seeing all of these people in all of these costumes, and everybody just smiling and having fun and enjoying themselves and not having experienced that in so long. It was such an emotional roller coaster. It was amazing.
What about you, Corey?
I was first of all, I want to say thanks to Casey for organizing all of that, all of the GUI stuff that we got to experience. Casey was our leader in that and keeping us all straight and getting everything organized. And without you, man, it wouldn't have went off near as well. And I agree. It was great to uh, see people, game with people, meet new people. Um, yeah, it was great to finally kind of put that carnival setup that I had and see the reactions people would get when seeing it in person. I mean, I put it up. um, I put it up for small groups and ran it at retreats, but it was drawing people in. It was nice. So
Yeah,
uh,
we got so fortunate with our placement because of the reduced size and attendance of Gen Con this year. We had the opportunity to receive a nice location and a big room because they had to spread out tables and stuff like that. So they gave us a room that would normally have probably a dozen tables crammed into it, and they actually gave us this room. But it wasn't just that; it was that they put this room literally near what we would call the front doors of the convention hall. Now it's a convention hall that's bigger than an NFL stadium. It's massive.
Oh
I
my
mean, it's right next
God.
to Lucas Oil Stadium, and it like dwarfs Lucas Oil Stadium. It's such a big convention center. And but I would call it the front doors because that's where the Uber and the Lyft would pick up and drop off people, and then the food truck row was right across the street there. So that's where people were coming constantly, and then some of the main escalators and things. And our room was literally three doors down from the front doors, right on the main concourse, right across the hall from the vendor hall, the giant concourse from the vendor hall that goes into there. And we put this big banner. It's like 8 feet tall and 12 feet wide. We put it
Oh my
right kind of
gosh, yeah.
outside our door. People would walk by and they'd see this banner. Nobody else along that hall had anything like that. And they'd see this banner. It was a beautiful picture of the Gloom Port, if you're familiar with that picture. And it's got GUI Cube right on it. It says level up your game master. And people would go by and they'd look at that and then they'd stop and they'd look in the room. And Corey's 3D Carnival was right at the doorway. And they'd see that first and foremost, and they'd look at it, and they'd come in, and then they'd look to the left, and there would be the Dungeon of Doom X, a 3D setup that we were running as a game show right to the left of that. And it was like, whoa, and then all of a sudden we'd have a table there, and people would just come in to check out what was going on, and it was great to talk with them and see the excitement and their excitement of what was going on and how they wanted to play our games, and they wanted to know more about what we were doing at GUI Cube, and we would send them to the GUI Cube booth, and they have a great experience there. And so it was like we had two locations at this massive convention that was constantly working hand in hand, sending people back and forth. But the beauty of it all was the consistent moment after moment after moment, seeing people so happy and so excited and so just dripping with satisfaction of what James just started with. 2 years, 2 years of not having the opportunity to sit down and do this kind of thing, and we were right there with them, giving them exactly what they craved, and it was a, it was mind blowing because people would not stop talking about Corey's 3D Carnival, and you'd go
My
somewhere and
goodness.
see it, and people would say, I saw your stuff or I heard about your stuff. Tell us more about it. It's so cool.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We actually got lucky. I had a lot of problems coming into Gen Con. Not nothing other than the fact that I was just miscombobulated, which is not unusual, anyways. So things were going wrong, and I didn't have my wonderful hoodie, which I'm going to show off real quick because this is awesome. Because we had our agent Matt. I met him for the first time since we started the stream, and he had our shirts. So we have merchandise now. This is the back of the hoodie. It is fantastic artwork. The print that comes out on this thing is wonderful. So definitely check out our Zazzle store. I know uh, Esper's in here, so she can link that up so that I don't mess something up, and we'll go
yeah,
with
like I
that.
just did.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just
Trying
puked all over my chat. What the heck?
Well, I said copy link from Facebook for the
Yeah,
Instagram
it just
thing
went
for
bleh.
me, and it blew up. So yeah, sorry about that.
Oh,
So
you're fine.
speaking of swag, I got to point out we're all wearing some of the coolest swag that. And here's the interesting thing, right? The game masters got these green gooey cube things, but there was also a black shirt with a green gelatinous cube that said GenCon that was being sold by the GenCon folks, and it wasn't near as cool as our shirt. And people kept coming up to us and talking to us just because they saw the booth, they saw the Dungeon of Doonix, they stopped by, they saw that, and this is the sad part, right? A lot of people stopped by and couldn't play with us because we were sold out, like literally hours after we posted all of our events, or after the events went live. Not, I mean, we posted them before, but as soon as they went live, we were sold out. So we're gonna show off some of the swag tonight, but this is by far my favorite was my GUI Game Master shirt. The it's a great community, GUI Cube. If you're not in the GUI Cube community and haven't like joined the Facebook group and whatnot, it's a great community. I'm glad I got to meet these people in person after being part of that community for so long and writing for GUI Cube. I got to play my character, Locobut Macabre. It was pretty awesome to play that and have people wandering up and actually running some D&D sessions as a character. That was pretty fun. And if you haven't seen it yet, matter of fact, I'm going to post it in chat. The Essenverd book that's coming out next has basically the opener for the Vanzentia section is a journal entry written by that character. I performed that on YouTube. I'm going to post that YouTube link in here when you get a chance later.
Post the mini
Pretty
link.
awesome.
Post the mini link. Don't puke on my chat room again. No.
All right.
First person to say I know nothing about how all of that stuff works, so you guys just do a good job with it.
Yep, exactly. She'll take care of it. That's how this works. Exactly. Right? This is why I love having a team. And this is one thing that I could not thank our team enough, both inside and outside of the convention. We had such a group of people that most of us had never met before in our lives, and the camaraderie and the connections that we all made coming away feeling like a family was incredible. And that's one of the main things that if you get to a big con like that, make sure that you are, goodness gracious, I gotta boost you guys again. I'm gonna blow up my eardrums. I gotta figure out what's going on with this thing. I'm gonna crank this sucker up and hopefully it doesn't blow everybody else out
I
the water.
think some of the things James is saying while he's trying to figure that out is come with a group of friends.
Heck yeah.
And go home as a family, and then come back to have a family reunion every year. I have brothers and sisters that I knew before from meeting online that I absolutely have fallen in love with, that I can't wait to get back and be together in a reunion as a family once more. Amazing people, and it just makes the experience just drip with a sense of joy and companionship. I'm awkward. I'm so socially awkward, but you get me with those folks, and they know I was literally bouncing down the street. I was so happy.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Too true, and that was before alcohol.
Yeah, we actually had Corey in a Sandestian dress walking around Indianapolis. It was fantastic.
Let me tell you that I was the most well put together man at that beer garden wearing a robe. The Sandestian robes were definitely. I felt really out of place after the GUI party was over and we moved out to the beer garden, and there's all of these people, just native Indianapolis folks hanging out, watching a band, and here I am walking around in a robe. I was probably the most attractive man there in a robe. So,
100%. Most attractive.
You were quite good looking. Yeah, it was stunning. I mean, yeah, you wore that well. You wore that well. I was.
I
Um, so yeah,
apologize.
I
We
think that
have one of the main things, one of the big things that we got from this at for Tavern Talks is that we have grown our list of guests
oh yeah,
phenomenally.
let me hit
So
that up.
that's actually the reason why I'm not staring at the screen at the moment because I had another person just hit me up on my phone interested in jumping on. So we have people from game designers, artists, um, all around crazy people. Like they're all over the place. I'm telling you, this is fantastic. It's gonna be such a fun time in the next couple months. Some of them
Our
we're gonna
forum.
be excited to have. Others I don't know yet.
So I'm gonna just kind of go through a couple of the people who are gonna have on pretty soon. I've got our forum. It kind of blew up during Gen Con. So and pre-Gen Con, I'm really excited about this one because I'm an educator. And Megan Hardy is going to come on. We're going to talk about running D&D for kids online. We're going to talk about RPGs as educational tools and the best ways to DM with kids. Really excited about that one because I mean I'm an educator. I actually toured the country doing game-based learning, professional development for teachers for a while, and I can't wait for that one.
Hopefully we can bring
And
that
then
to our upcoming Patreon too, and that will help give more bonuses to people, especially if you're playing with families, because sometimes it's so hard to get the younger generation into this until they're of age or of a certain age. It'd be really cool to see how to get those when their creativity is at its peak. You know, like 6, 7, 8 year olds, the ones that their minds are building things that you never would have even dreamed of. Being able to harness that and to grow that would be fantastic.
I'm going to segue here for a second
Hey
for a
now,
Gen Con
you
story.
stop.
I'm sorry, just a short one. So I got to run Carnival Crashers for a family. So it was mom, dad, and two kids came, and that's actually why I had to leave you guys and let you load this thing by yourself. It's because Casey said, "Hey, you've got some people at your table wanting to play Carnival Crashers," so I had to let you do all the heavy lifting while I ran a game. So
That's all right.
thanks for that. Um,
Oh no.
so yeah, it was a mom, a dad, uh, two boys, younger boys, and it was so
Mm.
interesting to see that dynamic of them playing characters and exploring the carnival. And there was a little bit of lecturing going on, like, "You're really gonna do that?" There's one scene where there's some kids being bullied, one of the Hanata's children being bullied, and another child is trying to cut their hair, and one of the kids says, "Well, I throw my dagger," and mom says, "At the kids?" It's pretty funny. So yeah, I think that getting groups together to play as a family is awesome. So sorry about that segue, but this is Tavern Talks. This is what we do.
No, you keep talking. I'm frozen on screen, so I got to figure this out.
It's
All right,
frozen
you
there.
figure that out.
Oh,
So another guest we're going to have on is man Marco Fazzati. I think that James talked to him, and a game publisher, author, and game designer and publisher. I think you said he's from the UK. We're going to have
Oh
him on
no, so
pretty
he's
soon.
a he's an artist. He does concept artwork, character artwork, some other things like that. He's also published. Um, one of the largest publishers from UK that runs on the DM's Guild. So these are huge things that we're getting to talk to them about of how to take our stream and take our content and put it into a module or put it into an adventure that people can actually purchase and enjoy with their own tables. So I'm really excited to talk to him about that.
And then let's see. Then we have. So here's another segue. We have a guest wanting to come on our show that we met at Gen Con. And if you've ever met somebody that when you meet them, in the back of your mind, you're going, "What is this? What's going on here? What is this guy? What's his deal?" And in the forefront of your mind, it just, you can't help but think, "This guy is full of shit. Everything he says, he's full of shit." But and I say that with kindness and love, because in the back of my mind I'm going, I hope he's not, right?
Right.
It's like yeah, I hope if you've ever met somebody like that, that you meet them and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I can believe this, but in the back of your mind, you're going, but I really want to believe this. This is the kind of person you want to believe. So, at any rate, we met the wandering bard, John Bono, who kind of came in and dropped into a bunch of our games and played his lute at some of our tables. And um, it, we might have him on our show. We might not. I don't know. We'll reach out. He did sign up on the forum, but we'll see. Um, it, it will be a very interesting show.
You have to at least come to see this to see how crazy it is. Um, it's
So, and, and speaking of Johns, we've got John Wick from Chaosium, designer of Legend of the Five Rings. Who James? I'll let you tell that side story.
yeah. So some of the people that I was with, we had gotten everything closed up on Sunday night and had everything thrown into the RV. Everybody took off, and then we go back to the room where we had the Dungeon of Unix and we had the carnival set up, and Kids Me His Wheels laying there along with a bunch of other stuff, and we were freaking out. So our driver had
I
already
didn't hear
taken
that story.
off.
That's the first I've heard this
Oh
story.
yeah, this is bad. It was a good time and a bad time all at once. I see Omnitoast in there, so he knows this story very well because thank God you had a truck. You're absolutely right. Um, so these are the scary things, but these are also where you find your true family and your friends who just rally to get this done. So myself, Omnitoast, who's in the chat room right now, and a bunch of other people decided we were going to grab all the stuff, wheel it all the way across the stadium or across the convention center out the other door, and wait for him to pull around in his truck and load it all up. And then they were able to, thankfully, uh, shortly afterwards, bring that to the RV and reload. So that was definitely a scary moment, but it did get us John Wick, which is fantastic from Case Ossium. So as I was pushing this appliance cart that is really, really, really heavy with a lot of materials on it, um, they were messing with us as we were trying to tip it back up, and he was like, "Oh, we can steal all their material. We love Gooey Cube," and I was like, and then I stepped up, and they're like, "Oh no, he's bigger." And then I pointed at Omnitos, and I said, "Nope, he's bigger than I am, so he can deal with it." Uh, anyway, they were like, "Dude, we bought your guys' stuff. We love it. Would you guys have any swag for us?" Well, before that, our driver was able to give extra GM T-shirts, and after we were joking, they were getting ready to walk off, and I went, "Oh, I've got two extra ones in my bag," so I grabbed one and threw it at him, and the guy next to him was like, "Do you know who you just gave a T-shirt to?" And I was like, "I don't know who he was. I didn't know who he was for anybody." And then they told me that he was one of the creative writers for Chaosium. So I reached out to him and told him that story, and now he's going to be on our show in the near future. So it's pretty awesome. So we actually Sunday was a huge growth for Tabletop Misfits. So that's pretty great. We've met a bunch of people who are already big time D&D players, or they've got a YouTube channel, or they're known in the community, and we're looking forward to having them on stream. Next year, Tabletop Misfits is going to be known a little bit more. So I know Matt and Whitney, our wonderful agent, and his wife were rocking the Misfits T-shirt, and we heard a lot of people talking that they loved the shirt, the artwork. So thank you, Nate, once again for those great art pieces, man. They're awesome. Big fans of Good Cube. Yeah,
So we
That's
got
a great story. Thanks for sharing.
it was
that,
awesome.
James. That made me happy.
Yeah,
we got two more shout outs here.
Yeah.
And one of those kind of hit me up. One of our GUI family, Michael, from Manhattan, Kansas. I know because I drove him there. Hit me up to take some stuff home for him, and he was saying, "Hey, I probably won't be in by the time you get there, it's Sunday afternoon, and I'm trying to load up and drive. And I said, well, what time do you fly into Kansas City? I might just, take a nap in the car and drive you home. And he's like, well, if you're going to pick me up from the airport, why don't I just ride with you? And I was like, sounds great. So we talked quite a bit because we were in the car for 8 hours together. And he's going to join us, and we're going to talk about his idea about dynamic combat. And I'm just going to give it to you in a nutshell, and we'll talk about combat and alternate initiative options and different ways to run D&D combat when he comes on. But in a nutshell, it's basically you give your players like 30, 40 seconds to chat, and this works really well with online systems. 30, 40 seconds to chat about what they want to do. Everybody makes their rolls, and then you start your initiative and just resolve the rolls. And I was like, oh, that's dynamic combat in
a nutshell.
In a nutshell, and we'll have him come on and talk about that.
Awesome.
And then
Michael is very. Let me interrupt you real quick, or whatever, just as a promo for Michael coming on as a guest. He's extremely gifted when it comes to improv and creativity. If you've ever had a chance for him to be your GM, it will actually open your eyes to some of the talent that is out there, and not realize that people just have a gift. He really, I mean, you could sit there and watch him GM as the pit players are playing and have just as much fun watching it, because he was just so good at that. So you guys are going to get a treat.
He did offer to run a
he
team
did.
player.
I've already spoken with him a couple times. We're definitely going to enjoy having extra, and this is going to kind of spin off to some other things that is in the works for Tabletop Misfits. Hopefully in the near future, we're going to have some new exciting things that are going to allow some GMs to get their chance to GM in the world of Xioth through the Misfits banner, and we're gonna really kick it off this year. I'm really excited to launch a couple new things, and I know Corey is working on it, and the rest of the team who are in here and in it. And this is where I get emotional, because in a year we had nothing, and now we have a wonderful community, and we were able to go to GenCon, and it was amazing. And I never would have even thought it was capable. So thank you to everybody here, co-host, Casey, the chat room, Gooey Cube, everyone. It was a dream come true to be able to say that I could, in a year, go from basically GMing in my backyard to running multiple games weekly for people around the United States, to actually being able to go GM at a con, one of the biggest cons in the United States. So it was pretty awesome. And
the biggest con.
The biggest con in the United States. So hopefully next year you guys are going to see us all over the place. This community is going to continue to grow. So definitely, Pam, shout out to all of our channel or our social medias. Make sure that you're following those. That's where we're going to give 10-second tips throughout the week from now on. We're going to start doing stuff on YouTube, so the VODs are going to come out. Our Patreon's going to open up here very soon. That'll allow you guys to get early access to all of the live streams. And we're really going to knock this out of the park this year, and I'm super excited. And it's all going to start it all started with this push from GenCon, because it's an exciting time for D&D. I will say I got a cube. So this is from our wonderful friend Mark. So if he's out there, thank you, Mark. If he's not, he will hear about this soon. And he's actually going to, as soon as I get the picture over there, he's going to build me a little signpost that has our symbol on it. So I'm super excited about that.
So I got one more shout out, and then we're going to talk a little bit about upcoming streams and some things we're gonna do.
Show off.
Well, I take that back. One more shout out. Then I'm gonna ask you guys a question that we can answer, because this is all about DM tips. So I'm gonna ask some DM tip questions, and then we'll talk about upcoming stuff. So the next shout out, Alex is going to come on the show as well. Kaunovich himself, the Lich Lord of the Vile Desolation in Zyathe, and he's going to come on and talk with us. So that's going to be fun as well. So that's kind of the last shout out of upcoming stuff. So
There's one.
let's talk.
There's a new one coming. So also, we got a chance to another crazy moment in my DM lifestyle that I've been dealing with over the last couple weeks. Apparently, is we had a GUI party on Friday and we got to meet a ton of wonderful people. And somebody found me in the crowd rather than me finding them, which I thought was just incredible. I was like, I'm a nobody. How do you find me? So Devin Schulich, which if nobody has ever heard of him, there's no way you haven't, because this man created the system that allowed game masters to be paid to do what they do and to do it good. So he is the creator of StartPlaying.games, and we were in line for some libations, and he tapped me on the shoulder and said my name, and I was clueless who he was. So it was an awesome conversation that we got to talk, and he's excited to come on board as well to talk some stuff. He runs a stream out there called Total Party Chill, which is a great stream. Definitely go check him out. And yeah, we had a long conversation. He's super excited to come on board as well. He was actually the one that was bugging my phone while we were talking. So I'm excited.
One more.
One more,
All
dude.
right.
I'm telling you, like I check my phone and then in 2 hours later I get another one pop up. So what do I got now? Oh no. Okay. Another
So
follow.
since this is started as a GM tips show, I am going to throw it out there so that we can get some GMs who want to run at a convention some ideas. All right. So I'm just going to throw it out there to you two. What are some tips or some ideas or things that you think you would share coming from Gen Con, it's fresh in your mind, on how to run a game at a convention or how to set up a game for a convention? Either of those tips, tricks. And I'll throw it to Casey first, who was our event organizer for the whole shebang. You got any tips for the viewers?
Yeah, I think one thing that works really well is table tents, little bifold pieces of paper that you have the player write their real name on, and maybe even have a space for their character name underneath, or something like that. It can be a half a sheet of paper that you cut, or it can be an index card that you fold over, or something like that. But it's very helpful for the GM, so they don't have to be continuing to remember players' names, and they have and you get that personal touch, which is really nice. I also do bifold character initiative cards that I actually hang on my GM screen that um, has the picture, the name of the individual on one side, the player, and then the monsters as well. I have those little bifolds. And on the back side has their stats that I need to know for them. And what happens is I put them on my GM screen, and then when we're playing, anytime we have to roll initiative, I put them in their initiative order. So I can just go across it and everything like that. I can see everything right there. It's a really good tool that I learned. I didn't come up with that. I learned that from somebody else at a convention that I went to. But those table tents and those GM screen tents are a really good tool to use. Um, Another thing that I found out about on Sunday, had I have known that they existed, I would have gotten one. But I don't care if it's a convention with a mask or without a mask. You can get these personal um, uh, microphone sound system things where you have a headset mic connected to a little speaker that you clip on your chest, and then you can actually present and speak without having to project and throw your voice out. And that's what I was doing, and I'm like, I have got to get one of those. No kidding, I think that would be a wonderful tool to be able to use as many games as I've had to run at conventions before. The third tip I would have is stagger your events, do your dead level best to not avail yourself for back-to-back events. Your players are going to appreciate your energy and your focus so much better when you have a chance to take a break, get something to eat, hydrate, and reset your brain If it's the same adventure, that's fine. But if it's a different adventure, you have the opportunity to kind of get your brain focused on what it is that you're going to do. You're going to have a better experience, and your players are going to have a better experience when you do that. So keep that in mind as well. I have some others, but I'll let James go, and then maybe I'll jump.
So first time game mastering at a con. So most of the cons I've ever been to were more so anime, cosplay, comics. There was never just a sit down and play con. And I think one of the main things that I will take away from it is make sure as a game master that you find time to do stuff for yourself as well. You can't just burn yourself out. This first con, I burned myself out. I'm gonna completely honest. I ran as much as I could and then some. I finally got into the exhibitors hall maybe on like for like an hour and a half on Friday, so we'd already been there 3 days almost fully, and then Saturday I got in there for another hour and a half, and then Sunday was like my no, I gotta go buy stuff because I'm leaving the next day. So it was definitely a an experience. And for anybody who has never been to Gen Con or been to and I don't know if this is for any other con because I've only seen it at Gen Con, so I have no other experience on this. The the ticketing system, the events, everything costs a little bit of money. So make sure that you're prepared for that because I know I wasn't. And also the water thing is probably definitely a good thing because I lost my voice after I lost my voice. My feet were killing me, and this is coming from somebody who literally hits the gym 4 to 5 times a week, goes running 3 to 4 times a week, and it was just the consistency of this. I felt like I was back in basic training, marching around for 12 hours a day, just because you're just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and
Yeah.
it was different. Yep.
Keep a water bottle handy at all times.
Yeah.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It's
Yeah.
not only good for your health, it will help you tremendously, and you need that. You don't realize how much energy you exert and sweat, even when you're just sitting there GMing a game, because it's a lot of work. You use your brain, you really
Yeah.
do, um, and it's really good. The other thing to think about is um, making sure that you save time for yourself to go enjoy yourself, not just the vendor hall, not just checking out what other people are doing, or spending time with your friends, which are very important. You can do those outside of the game times and the convention hours, but get yourself a game. Find the one thing that you love, or a seminar, the one thing that you absolutely love, and go do that. If you don't, you're going to regret it, because it's there for a reason, and the reason that people come to do these things, you're gonna be so much more enriched by it. Um, Little known fact: if you want specific convention swag, make sure that um, you get there and get there early before they sell out of the T-shirt size that you want, um, and look for that. That's just a little thing. But take some time to walk the entire place and just take in all of it, especially if it's a megacon.
Yeah.
Take in the energy, take in the sights, look for the people that are dressed up, and remember, don't feel awkward asking folks who have dressed up for a picture, because that's why they're there.
They've
They
worked
thrive on
so
that,
they work so
and
hard on
they
this stuff
work so
too.
hard. And the reason I tell you that is because I was dressed up, and the boost of satisfaction that you get when somebody comes to you and says, "Wow, that's really cool. Can I get a picture with you?" is tremendous. So I learned that that's why people do that, and they really appreciate when you come up to them and say, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" But take it in. It's good. All right, I'll let you go for more. Those are
No,
my thoughts. I have.
no, definitely. And like I said, and you can learn so many new things and meet so many people. It's it was an incredible experience, and I would definitely suggest anybody try to at least go to one. If cons aren't your thing, find 3 or 4 friends, go to one, get the experience, especially some of these like massive ones where you can see tables of. So there's like literally a hall where it's just tables of people playing board games or people playing RPGs, and they're just it's a the energy is insane compared to just playing in your backyard. Now there's always like one that's wonderful, and thankfully I got an experience to do that with some people that I have grown up with my entire life from my hometown, and I got to sit down with them and their kids, and we played through one of the wonderful modules that we had, and funny. I'm gonna tell a quick story on this because I thought it was hilarious. Is you get these cards at the beginning of the game, end card and an X card, and we had a 7-year old. One of the players is in here, so they're gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a 7-year-old girl, one of her brother's kids. We're like, hey, if it gets crazy, mom and dad can push the button and we'll stop where we're going because Gooey Cube stuff can be kind of dark at times. And as soon as we meet the bear in Dark Tide's Night, this little girl is stabbing this thing in the head and ripping cotton out of it and ripping it in half. And I was like, X card, X card, X card. Because we were so scared that we were going to frighten everybody else. And yeah, she turned the table on me pretty quick, which was great. And it was hilarious. So, but these are the moments that you get to cherish, those crazy moments, and don't
I'm gonna
be.
throw another one out there.
GM mechanic tip. Sorry, go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was just gonna throw this out there. If you haven't had the chance to co-DM, a con is a perfect chance.
Oh yeah.
It was wonderful to switch back and forth in Murder and Motley. Omni's
In here, yep.
In here, so that was a wonderful experience for me. And it wasn't. We had started out with some kind of guidelines about I'll do box text and he does some role play but we threw that out the window probably about 20 minutes in, and we didn't even like own characters. Like he would start talking as Borog, and then they would ask a question, and he would look at me like, I don't know how to answer this, and then I'd jump in and answer it as Borog. It was, if you haven't had the chance to do that as a DM, Con is a perfect chance to grab another DM and say, hey, let's run this together. You know the adventure, I know the adventure, let's run it together. And to me, that was one of those things about the con that would just kind of touched my heart and made me go, this is why I do this. And we had a great time. The 6 players had a great time. And yeah, it was great.
We built the Dungeon to Do Nix with the model of co-GMing simply because we knew that an hour of straight game show host energy was going to wear on a GM. And if we were to try and put them in an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours straight, because they were, we run them in, back-to-back 1-hour slots for 4 straight hours, that it would just burn the GM down. And so we set up the co-GM model. And I agree 100% with Corey that was a accidental genius idea that I don't know who in our group came up with. I think it might have been Alex. And it turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful experiment. And I'm so glad that it worked well with Murder and Motley and Chaos at the Carnival and Carnival Crashers and all of those that we did too, because it's just your players. I mean, they're just getting constantly fed with energy if you're trying to run a 4-hour adventure, it's hard to keep that energy going for 4 straight hours. And these players get a premium experience. So seek the opportunity to co-GM. It's really fun. A mechanic suggestion that I have for GMs running at a convention is if you're in a room or you're at a table adjacent to a wall or a corner, find your spot as the GM against the wall or the corner. What that does for you is 2 things. One, it's a sounding board off the back. Okay? So if you speak, you're speaking out to all of them, and if they're speaking, your players and stuff, it's coming back to you and then coming off the wall behind you, and so you can hear them better. And you can still catch that, as opposed to if you're on the outside of that, all of that sound goes back behind you, and goes right on by you, and it's harder for you hearing it constantly. slowing things down because you're having to ask them to repeat themselves and such. The other thing that it does is the exact inverse of that, in that if you happen to be in the hall, in the passageway area, and you have adjacent tables, you're getting all that noise from the other tables coming right up behind you, and it's hard for you to focus because of what's going on at the other tables or people walking by and stuff like that. So, if at all possible, you can do that. In some of those places, there, those halls were bigger than 10 football fields stacked in a grid, and you can't do that. But you do the best you can. In those cases, they try and separate the tables a little bit, but it gets loud in those places. Thankfully, to have really really two-story high ceilings, and so that helps too. But find yourself logistically in a place where sound, you utilize the barriers around you and the sound tools to help with your communication. But I can't stress enough: save your voice and drink your water, because it's going to be tough. And don't be like me and go and talk at the GUI booth for 6 to 8 hours, and then go try and run the dungeon in Fluidix.
I can't believe what you're saying.
And you found Kismet?
Did he just squeak?
Yeah.
Is that what I just heard? Did he just squeak?
Yeah, I was squeaking by Sunday, that's for sure. So let's talk about swag.
Swag.
Let's talk about stuff we got. And I'll go last because some of the stuff I got, we're actually going to give away on stream at some point. Well, we're going to auction it away on stream at some point. I don't think we're going to give it away because this is some really good stuff.
I gotta go get something real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. So what we're going to do, and I'll premise it, maybe I'll go first since he's jumping out.
I'm going to get some stuff I can show.
What we're going to do is, as we launch our Patreon, different levels of Patreon are going to get basically auction bucks they can use for the auction. And if you're not a Patreon follower, that's fine. You can still join the auction. We'll still send you the stuff if you win the auction. And we're basically going to do what I call a Patreon like rush, right? Try to get some followers. You subscribe $1, and we'll give you 10 towards the auction for stuff. It's probably not going to be till after the new year because I want to get some more stuff. Like, I want this auction to be 3 or 4 cons worth of cool swag and cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do this one, few hours long event where we're auctioning all this stuff off. So I'm going to start by some of our partners while we were at GenCon. There were these little tickets, these quests, and you had to go to 3 different booths. One booth was GUI Cube, and you had to get Alphinius or an Alphinius representative to sign it. I signed a bunch. I wasn't Alphinius, but I signed them while I was at the booth.
You were in the Sundestian dress. You were.
Yeah, I was in a dress or a robe. A robe. It's not a dress, man. It's a robe.
Depends on what time of night it is. It looked like
But the other two booths you had to visit. One of them, actually got 2 from this one that we'll be giving away. I gotta quit saying giving away. We're auctioning them away. Drifter's Atlas, and they make some cool independent stuff. You can't see the word Atlas there, but this one is it. Where am I gonna put this?
It's your lighting, man.
There we
go.
I don't look as good, but it's all right. There we go.
If you're showing stuff off that people could potentially get, they're not going to care what you look like, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. So hold on just a second. Is it this one?
Yeah, it's the one that makes you look red. No, still having issues.
Well, still having some issues.
Yeah, that's all right. We've got some stuff.
There we go. That's good enough. So at any rate, it came from the message board. Basically, a bunch of little message board quests that you can do with your 5e players. That's gonna go on our auction. Also from them, Scrap Rat, which is a 5e futuristic game, but you don't have a level in Scrap Rats. You're just
Rats.
you're kind of like a 0 level scrapper trying to do that one. So that was one place that was on that quest. And when I go to Gen Con, I always buy indie. If I can get it later at a game store, or if I can get it, it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm looking for the people I may not see this stuff again. And that's some of the examples right there. Another one is a DM-less adventure. The Blood Queen's Defiance.
That sounds fun.
Is that right?
Yeah, the Blood
Yeah,
Queen's
it's
Defiance.
DM-less adventure. And this is, I'm trying to see, this is Limitless Adventures. Limitless-adventures.com. That was the third place. Yeah, and I've actually got two of these. I don't have the other one sitting here.
Yeah.
I've got the Blood Queen's Defiance, and I got another one from them that we will be auctioning off on the stream. And then, so a little plug. Another James friend of mine, not this James, but another James friend of mine, and I are writing a Savage Worlds historical fiction adventure. So, but we're both history buffs. It's a historical fiction adventure about feudal Japan. But when I saw this, Nations and Cannons, a 5e setting for the Revolutionary War, I had to pick it up. So that will be another thing, and it's got, artillery. It's got a spell called To the Gallows. That's I'm interested to see how that works. But anyway, this will be another one. Nations and Cannons. If you want to run a historical fiction game in the 5e world, there you go.
Before we continue, Corey, do you kind of want to give them a sneak peek of what our plan is for some of these adventures and what our plan is here at the Misfits?
Oh yeah, we're gonna run some of this stuff on stream.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our goal is
we're not just
here soon. We're gonna start running 1 month long shows where we're gonna grab a different adventure each month and show off how to create characters in it, how to game master in it, and then at the end of the month, we're gonna run it. So, and we're gonna ask for people that are in Patreon are gonna be invited to come play in it, and that's where we're really gonna implement the Patreon really heavily. So,
now for these DM-less things, we might not do that on stream. We don't want to spoil. But for the other systems and such, like running Scrap Rats and running Nations and Cannons, yeah, we're definitely going to try the system out. Give everybody a little shot of these other systems. Speaking of other systems, Orc, second edition. That's right. I got this. This is the last one they had.
No idea what Orc is, but it sounds just fun.
It's a role-playing game, man.
I get that. I'm just like, it's Orc. Like, I should be able to like rip people's faces off and skin them alive and then run around with their hair on.
It says right here, squishy men no read this M4 Orcs. Right there.
Well, so then why do you have it? Because you can't. You're not allowed to read that. You're squishy.
M4 Orcs.
I am Orc.
And then we've got another DM-less adventure, Emberwind. We actually have two of their modules. One of them was given to James as a demo, and then I have another one. His is open. Mine is sealed. We are going to run his on stream and maybe give it away. I don't know if he wants to let go of it, but my sealed one is going to be auctioned off on stream. So that's not all my swag. That's all the swag I want to share during this episode. I will share much more later, and as I get more swag at other conventions, I will do that. And also in those auctions will be some of my games, such as Drunken Dwarf Draft,
which we got to play again. That was so much fun. Tabletopia.
So look for that. Like I said, it's probably not going to be till the new year. Give me some time to collect a bunch of stuff, and we'll get that auction scheduled out. So there's my swag. Let me toss it over to Casey. You got some swag this year from Gen Con?
Ooh.
I do. Most of my swag is
Gooey.
Gooey Cube, but I wanted to show one thing right here, and this was a treasure. That this was a gift from Alphenius Goo to some of us, and the story of this was that um, it was something that I saw that he was wearing that he had picked up at Dragon Con, and it kept catching my eye, and I was thinking that's just beautiful, and I think he had even made a post about it, and I was like, that's something that's really beautiful. I'd love to have something like that, and then I saw that he was wearing it, and it seemed like everything that he was doing, you would see it around his neck. And I'm like, that is beautiful, and then all of a sudden he starts giving it away to some people, and he gave me one, and it was a treasure of mine, and I was wearing it, and so you're in a vendor hall of 350 plus vendors, and I'm just filtering through the hall, and I'm not stopping at any booths, and I stop at this one booth, and James may show something from the booth, but it's a place where you can have customized Lego setup made
Oh,
with like
I
a
have a
kid's
picture.
name or something like that. You can make a custom Lego minifig based on their likes and things like that.
I need to get better at being able to
And
show pictures on here.
I was thinking about getting something like that for one of my children, and I was looking at it and everything, and all of a sudden the lady behind the table says, "I made that necklace." And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I made that necklace." I said, "No joke." She said, "Yeah." And I told her, I said, that you're the one who made these? This is like a treasure. This is an heirloom. This is something that I will cherish for life and probably wear around my neck at every single con I ever go to again. And she's like, and I explained to her why it meant so much to me, and she's just like, okay, you're gonna make me cry, and it was a wonderful moment meeting the artist that made
Hmm.
something that was a treasure for me just out of the blue of the tens of thousands of people at this place. Yeah, so they make these things too. You tell them what you want, and they build a little. That's for James's son Joshua that and some special things about him. But that was a treasure for me, and I was looking for things that I could buy for my family, and she had some beautiful little jewelry of that same make that go with all of my family has some cosplay outfits we're working on, and so I got them an item from there that are just absolutely wonderful, and I grabbed my son's to show to you, but he just came and took it back because he wants to wear it around his neck. He loves it so much, so that's pretty good. Some other things, well, the infamous gooey buck.
Oh, I didn't get a
It's the
gooey
gooey
buck.
buck.
I've got
I
like
did get
Yeah.
one of those necklaces, though. I was
I grabbed
very proud
like
to get one of those.
I grabbed like 10 of them, Corey. I can send you one.
So yeah, and I have two, Corey. I can get you one. But
He's
there were
closer.
only 2,000 of them made just for Gen Con. And Alphenius will tell you that right now they're worth absolutely nothing. But one day, you never know.
Yep.
You never know. He likes to say that. Something else that I came home with, the inaugural copy of our first true GUI Cube one-shot adventure that John Calvin wrote as an author. One of our community members wrote the first adventure, Menace in the Mist. And in GUI Cube form, you have the adventure guide. If this is a one-shot, this is a
This is a
this
one
is a
shot.
one-shot. This is a one-shot. You have the GM reference book. It's not a 4-hour one-shot. It's an 8 to 10 hour one-shot.
That's about how
You
all of
have
them are
in
starting
there,
to develop, so it's okay
yeah,
because the one I'm writing
you
is
have
probably close to that too.
GUI reward cards, the portraits, the special item cards, and for the convention, they printed. Well, of course, we have all of the handouts. You got to have the handouts, but all the handouts. They printed the maps in 8.5 by 11 sheets, blown up to 1 inch equals 5 foot squares, and so the maps are right there. And so I have that. That's a treasure of mine because that's the convention one shot with all of its glorious not typos, but essentially trial version glitches
Yeah.
that we found that we'll have to fix. Something they had this bin of little book of battle mats.
Ooh.
It's just a little flip book of battle mats that you could throw out, and you could just go walk by a bin, and they had this bin of just stuff every once in a while, every day that you could just go pick out,
Huh.
just swag. Um, some of the swag that we gave away to our GMs that Trudy made for us is, yeah, the dice trays, the custom GUI Cube dice trays, which we set out on the Dungeon to do next table when people love. Um, Something else that we had, alignment pins. Put it up there, and I don't know if you guys can see it if it's too bright or not. It might be
Yeah,
too
it's too
bright.
bright.
Let me see
It's
if I
alright.
can
I was chaotic.
get this.
I was chaotic evil that weekend.
Yeah,
It's
it's. I
alright.
wish I could show it. Maybe we'll post a picture or
Most
something
of
like
my
that.
players think I'm
But
chaotic evil all the time, so it's okay.
what it what that is the players would play with us, and then we have this pin that has all the different alignments right there, and you can put that in your thing. And there's a thing at Gen Con called Pin Bazaar, where you go around to different vendors and stuff, and you get these beautiful pins, and you collect them and you trade them, and it's a thing to do at Gen Con, which is pretty cool. And then of course I have one of the few GUI Cube masks, which in this year was crucial for us, but it's a treasure of mine. I didn't spend a lot of time buying stuff in the vendor hall. I spent my time when I was in the vendor hall just taking it all in, and I want to support my local game store, and so I'm going to find something that I liked, and there were some things that I saw and some vendors that were there that had some pretty cool product, and I came back and I talked to my local game store owner, and I said, here's some really cool stuff for you to check out. I think the customers are going to love it. That's what I did. So
As he's losing his voice once
Thank you
again.
thank you for taking Drunken Dwarven Draft as well to the game store. So hopefully
Yeah.
that local they
I got to
that
do
as
the
well.
same. I got to do the same thing for around here because it's definitely something that
Great.
needs to be there. So swag that I got. So I get some interesting swag, and then I get some just normal stuff. So first off, we're gonna go with the normal stuff. So the same company that created Everwind. Most of what I did when I played games on the table for demos and stuff, I was looking for games for the kids, of course. So this little card game here called Snack Attack. You get to be a little dinosaur and eat food. It's for 2 players, but it's for 7 and up. So this is definitely something that I will be playing consistently with my 7-year-old. Not to mention my wife and I loved it, so it was a great time. And then for another, if you're if you're a kids person, Kodama Forest is a little like pieced board game, and I'll probably do another demo for each of these on YouTube for part of um, our YouTube group to just show off some of these because these are really cool. But actually, the people who, like I said, the people who created this, the only reason I found out about Everwind is I found these, and then the guy was like, "Here, check this out too." And I talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, guess what? We run Tavern Talks," and he was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "Well, we look at reviewing games, and we're looking at launching another show that we're gonna play once a month on these things." And he was like, "Really?" And he handed me a book, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't think that actually works, but it did. It was awesome." And it was like the first time I realized that first off, I have a good pitch apparently, and it works. I got another set of these at Gen Con, which was awesome. I have 3 new modifier dice because they were gifts. Now, for people who love character portraits, these things are fantastic. I was lucky enough to get them because of being there and being around the team. But if you don't have these things are fantastic. And they are just crazy good, awesome artwork. You can get these over at GooCube's website, but they are cool as heck. Let's see here. Like I said, I showed you off my GUI Cube. I also got a little like piece of paper that allows me to download the Power Rangers RPG, so that's probably something we'll play in the near future too, just because that was me growing up. I loved being a Power Ranger when I was like kindergarten, so I probably still would love being a Power Ranger. I just can't do it as much. Let me see. Do I have anything else? Well, I do have one thing. So this is something that's crazy. And it's not. We're not sure if it's going to happen, but it's a possibility, and it's nuts. So if you've ever heard of the thing called Game Board, Sunday was my big networking day. Sunday was my day to step away from GUI Cube, put on the Tabletop Misfits mentality, go around and networking to people. And we met some incredible people that got to see both our products as well as our stream and talk about it and stuff like that. So I get to meet people like shout out to some of these guys. I shouted out to them on IG, but Ice Cream Sandwich, got to sit down with him and show off the GUI products with that. He's a huge YouTube slash TikTok D&D guy. Super just genuine, awesome person, great sense of humor. And they were actually the Gen Con show for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So being able to sit down and talk with him and network with him was very, very cool because, as I tell a lot of people, it wasn't like how normally you go to big cons and you talk to people for 2 seconds and you get a picture and you move on. I actually got to walk them down both of the booths and talk to them and actually network, which was a lot different than I'm used to. And then our second shout out for that was how we got a hold of Game Boards, which was crazy. Is Jason Azevedo, who, if you've never heard of him before, they run a amazing stream, which we hope one day to be like their stream in that mentality that they run Realmsmith up in Canada, and they have 25 or so thousand people that follow them on a monthly basis, which is just incredible. But I got to sit down and talk with him, and then he introduced me to Game Boards, and they said, "Hey, do you want to review our stuff on stream?" So in the near future, I'm going to reach out to them this next couple of weeks. We're going to get a game board. And when I thought game board, I was like, oh, cool. Get to play chess and that kind of fun stuff. No. This thing is awesome. I can implement my VTT or my virtual tabletop into game board. I put these little pieces on the bottom of them and I can turn them on the screen and it moves. It's the craziest thing in the world. I've never seen something like it. And yes, also if we don't get one for review, our agent and his wife purchased one, but I didn't know that when I got the review, so I was pretty excited. So Tabletop Misfits is growing, and I can't not thank everybody here that comes weekly and has subscribed to us and has offered to help us in so many ways. And then, of course, an awesome and crazy shout out to GUI Cube, who pretty much started all of this wonderful adventure, at least for me. I think that's all of my swag. At least all the stuff I have like laying next to me. I'm sure I have a ton of other random stuff that mostly is like cards and free role playing games, those types of things. But those are like the big ones. But yeah.
Speaking of the stream growing, we're looking at pretty soon, as soon as I can get my grubby hands on that Darkenhaven box. Soon as it releases, matter of fact, I might go just sit outside of Wicked Think with a sign that says,
"Give me Darkenhaven."
Give me Darkenhaven until they give it to me.
I'm sure we can probably get a sneak peek of it.
But as soon as we get that, we've already got cast members lined up for the Tuesday night stream, plots in Darkenhaven, and this is how it's going to work. So the characters we're going to build, and we're going to build them on stream like we did for the one shot. So you're going to be able to see us build those characters with the cast.
Maybe influence them a little bit.
Maybe even influence them a little bit about some of the choices they make in character generation. But the cast members are going to create characters that are somewhere in between a detective agency and a mercenary guild. And they're going to be a part of this group that helps people solve problems in Darkenhaven. And there's going to be 3 cast members that are like basically part of this guild. And then we're going to have a 4th player every week that's going to be a guest. And that 4th player is going to be the star of the show. That 4th player, the guest that we bring on, is going to come with a problem. So if you've ever seen those episodic,
Sherlock Holmes, Dick
Sherlock
Tracy.
Holmes, exactly. Murder, She Wrote, right? They've got this one person that comes on.
NCIS.
That brings the problem, and that's how we're going to run plots in Darkenhaven. Is the Darkenhaven A-Team. Yeah, there we go. I pity the fool.
We are. So, I mean, we have the A-Team too. They're the affordables. They're the ones that everybody can finally afford.
Somebody at Gen Con tried to call me Hannibal at one point as
Wow.
we were getting started. I laughed. It was like, we have a plan. We have a plan. Don't worry.
There is a plan. Um,
That would make me Murdoch, right? Dressed in motley and
yep.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. We could go down that road if we wanted.
So yeah, that's going to be starting real soon. We'll also be looking for guests to come on and play a character, and experience Darkenhaven from within. It will be fun. I I like this idea better than what I originally pitched, which was a whole new group every time. I think that this idea is actually going to be uh, more fun to watch. I think a whole new group every time might be fun for the players, but it probably wouldn't be fun for the viewers
Yeah.
because the exposition would take so long every single time.
Yeah,
So
not to mention we got to now get like the three players. We got to get their artwork done, and they got to be all in like these detective costumes with the little spyglass looking around. It's great. I'm super excited. Uh, Hopefully, I can guest on that one time. I don't know. We'll see if I'm allowed to do so or not.
yeah, you'll be a guest, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You might be a guest GM if something happens to
Stop it.
you. If I can't do a Tuesday night, I might have you jump in and GM one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I know that Pam and Matt are also talking about adding a different stream, something about movies. I don't know exactly what that is, but we'll have more on that at some point. And who knows? This might be a channel.
So we're gonna
Like
be
every
launched
night,
here.
something new.
Hey, that's where the fun comes from because it means you guys can come check us out every night for something new. And
There's other things in the works too, but I'll leave that up to discussion between I and James.
yeah, no, there's all sorts of craziness. So, like I said, in a year we went from starting the channel, having like 5 followers, and now we are closing in on 200. I think what we'll probably do is we're probably going to make some capstone points where we got to hit these goal marks before we can launch our silent auction or our big rush. And this is just to thank you guys, to give back to the community for this stuff. And also, it's going to launch these new shows coming up. There's also another talk of a show coming up that's going to be called Creators Corner, where we're going to be bringing artists that get to actually do their artwork on the show, mini painters, those types of things, where we can show the artistic side of things. So if you're interested in something like that, you're welcome to be a guest on that for a time frame. I'm not running that. I run way too much as is, but I'm going to let the rest of my cast and group run this stuff because they are a fantastic group, and we've had just a blast putting this crazy, crazy thing together. So once again,
I'm glad you bring that up. That we need to hit some
hit some points. Yeah, some goals.
points, right? And I think that the viewers can help us with that a little bit because I know that right now all of this stuff is coming in, and we have all these ideas being thrown at us, and what we really need to spend some time on in the next 3 to 6 months is just product development, right? What are the things that you as viewers or you as Patreon members want to get out of this? Is the if we do a one shot, do you want the adventure? If we get on and talk characters like we did a few weeks ago, do you want those characters? Do you want the character sheets? But those are the types of things that we need to hear from you and say, hey, this is really what I would love to see. I would love to see these digital products available through Tabletop Misfits, and helping us to get that product development done is going to be awesome. A fantasy football show. You know what, Lord Stanton? I actually had an idea while I was talking. It came up when I saw James's guns, right? Show us your guns, James. Come on. All right. So I thought about I thought about James. I thought about Omni, and who was a football player for a while. I thought about our friends CJ and Dan that I know who are in Chicago and DC, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do Jocks with Math Rocks? It's a bunch of jocks that love to throw math rocks and play D&D, and talk football, right? So, Lord Stan, I'm there with you. Let's do it. Let's get a jocks with math rocks stream going at some point.
So I don't know
I'll
if
sit
anybody's
down with
ever
that.
heard of this. What we might have to do with this, if we could get those types of people on here, we'd be in a lot better shape. But that's, I can't compete with Joe. I'm sorry. It's, you don't see me dancing around Magic Mike style. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's not. Give me that's what I was talking about. Yes. So we could play some fantasy Blood Bowl type fantasy football and do it as just a crazy, create two teams, create some stats for the characters, for the people, bring them in, make them rough and tumbly, and come up with our own little game of Blood Bowl between, the Arachnoids versus the dwarves or something crazy. I don't know. We'll come up with something. Any these are the ideas we want our community to work for. Yeah, of course. Every I'm just gonna if everybody pitches on in probably $10 on Patreon, um, I'll give it a shot and I'll shout out for a one shot with this man. If we can get 100 people on Patreon at $10, I'll shout out and try to sponsor him on for a one shot. I'm down for this. I don't know if it'll work, but I'll even make sure that people see the email traffic and everything. I'll try. We're already getting connected, so I mean I've got connections. I just don't have those connections. And all those players would be great. Joe Manganiello is, if nobody knows who he is outside of the movies and outside of the TV shows, um, that is probably one of the biggest nerds in A-listing D&D out there. Go YouTube his basement. It is a nerd's dream come true. I'm telling you, I've never seen something so beautiful. We had a bunch of things that we saw at Gen Con, which were like these massive pieces that you can put on your wall. I'm sure he has all three, like all four of them in his basement. I'd be so
We
jealous.
got to find a way to connect with him. I mean, he's an avid lover of the Dragonlance world, and that was a joy of mine when I was growing
Mm-hmm.
up. And the reason that I fell in love with the world of Sayate is because it's right up there with already. It's right up there with it, not starting to exceed the depth and the breadth of the Dragonlance world of
Yeah.
Kryn. The only thing is that the Dragonlance world has hundreds of novels written for
Right.
it, and the backing of that
Yeah.
large company.
So check
But
these things
if
out though.
we can get it to take
These
that
things
route,
were
yeah.
so cool. That is literally an owlbear head that I could put on my wall. I'm not saying that wouldn't be part of the Patreon to sponsor that, but wouldn't that be cool if just put it right there? My wife would kill me, but it'd be worth it. Or that dragon head right there. Or this little guy right here. And I got eaten by a Cthulhu. By an illithid.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. I'm actually not here anymore. That's probably why this thing's going so well, because I'm no longer me. So.
Did your madness score went down to 0?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. The these are definitely. In all honesty, I would just bail. If it was Jason Momoa, Joe Manganiello, and Vin Diesel, I'd be like, I'm not doing nothing. Just sit back. We'll have 65,000 viewers for one show, and then after that, back to 15. This is how that works. But no, this has been fun, man. Gen Con was such an experience, and it just launched a lot of passion coming forward for Tabletop Misfits, for GUI Cube, for the D&D community, and I'm super excited for this because I've got players that have not written more than a couple pages or a couple paragraphs for their backstory, or sending me like, dude, I got these ideas for my backstory now and I'm ready to go. And I mean, just watching the lights light up in their eyes. We've got a couple guys who went to Gen Con, have never written anything in the world, and now they're contributors for GUI Cube. And these are the moments where you realize that you're doing something so amazing with other people and for other people that you just kind of tear up a little bit. Because I'll admit there's been days where I sit and kind of think about it, and I'm like, wow, what have we as a community created in less than a year? I don't know where Beppis is. Uh, it is a inside joke, and if he's not here, I'm not going to say who he is. So, but this is this has been an incredible experience, both at Gen Con and just this year of growing the Tabletop Misfits banner. And I'm super excited to see where this goes. So even if this was not supposed to be kind of like a year like recap, it kind of set it to be so, because this was the end of an amazing year for Tabletop Misfits. We created it, we launched one show, we launched this thing, and thanks to Corey, and now we're to the point now where we're looking at launching 3 to 4 other shows, and yeah, it's nuts. So expect to see us at cons coming up soon. We're gonna. I've already got talks of it. Hopefully, our merchandise will be sitting there next to the GUI Cube booth, and you'll be able to pick up stuff. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely do so, because we're gonna launch we've got these 2 shows, but we're gonna be launching stuff left and right in the next year, because I'm excited. And then we'll get the Patreon out here shortly, as soon as Corey and I can figure out exactly what the community wants from our Patreon. So if you do have any ideas, please make sure that you're reaching out to us. You can right now get into Tabletop Misfits Discord, but once we launch the Patreon, it's probably going to be closed down. So make sure, if you are one of the founding members, one of the people of the community that have been here since the beginning, that you get on our Discord so you don't lose that opportunity. Because once this locks down, it's going to be for paid Patreon members only. Because it's going to help us grow the stream. It's going to help us produce more content. It's going to help us reach out to more people. And if I have to, it's going to help me sponsor these crazy people onto this stream, because I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, and the thing is that the Patreon's going to be, I mean, you're going to get a lot for your buck, right? The entry level is going to be $1. And yeah, it'll be a lot for your dollar, believe me.
Yeah, we're looking at, I know Omni was here earlier. So our goal is that anything that shows up on our streams will have something connected to the Patreon, and then depending on the level that you purchase at, you'll get either one of the shows, or both of the shows, or because we're looking at custom maps through Incarnate, and we're hopefully going to have a couple of us designing those weekly to make sure that we get all the encounters. A secret that I'm going to tell now, that is going to be only heard on this stream specifically, is we are going to do a custom Patreon that's probably going to be at the mid-level, so probably around the $10 to $20 a month mark. That's not only going to give you everything in it, but if you are part of the GUI community, you are part of GUI Cube and part of Tabletop Misfits, you're going to get another pamphlet every month that's going to point to you how everything we do can be utilized in Xyothe. And we want to do that as nothing more than a contribution for the world that we play in and the people that we know. So I really think that's going to be an awesome thing for people to have. So all the encounters we do, especially now that we're digging into like the Dead Hills, and getting ready to go into Pendrugan and a lot of these worlds that don't have maps for them, we're going to be producing those in the background, and then offering those off to our Patreons as a way to give back for a little bit of money. Nothing crazy. So hopefully
Hey, James,
that's big.
If I drop out, can you frame and share your screen and show missing fits?
Oh, missing fittins?
Missing fittins?
No, I'll just pop it up on my screen. I'm good. I'll just
all right.
I'll share it on my my stream here. Hold on, yeah. Whoa, hold on. We're playing around here.
Little background here.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be the lead writer of Vanzentia in the Eastern Verdestia source book, and it looks like Yeah, we can't
I'm
see
working on
anything
it.
yet.
I'm working on it.
Oh, you can put it behind you.
Oh,
That's
yep,
how you can
that's
do
what
it.
I'm gonna do. Put it behind me.
So
Make sure
one
I
of the
have it.
towns right near Zilitar City, which is the capital city of Vanzentia,
Oh,
is a little known place that he'll show you. It's on the map. It, as soon as he gets it.
give me a second here. I got too much
So
stuff going on right now. I apologize. There's got people talking and adding new people to the group, and where did it go? If you are not part of the GUI community, we are by in no means, and I want to let people know this because there is a lot of people here that we get coming on that aren't part of the GUI community. We are by in no means sponsored, like getting paid to say these things. This is the wonderful world that we have grown to love, and will continue to support because it is just the wonderful world of GUI Cube. I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna tell him he's gonna have to change it because it's got to have ENS instead of etters because I think it would be better. And so I'm gonna move here in a second because I'm taking up literally where it's at, but it'll be funny to see because hold on, I'm gonna have to get up and everything.
yeah, there we go. Mission Fitters, right next to Zilitar City, and actually the other thing is Omni's town is right there where his chair is. They gave a little shout out to Omni as well. And if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. There's a little shout out there.
Yeah, so that is missing fitters. What I can think about this, so just a funny little story on that because of everything that happened at Gen Con, this little town here is about nothing but mischief and chaos, which I know our agent would love. But yeah, there is a small race of people that are being produced now through the GUI community, and they are mischief and curious, and they like to steal people's left shoe and turn time clocks back an hour, and they're just a boatload of mischievousness, and I'm looking forward to developing that little town to just be this terror. I'm gonna love it. And then every once in a while there's a couple towns that are around it, which is pretty much all of our friends from the Misfits. We all have our own town, but I've already told most of them that on the 3rd of every day or of every month they for some reason they wake up and their left shoe's gone, and it's because the Misinfitins come over there and they take them from them. So yeah, so the Undervelvins are what their name is, and they're wonderful little creatures, and I'm gonna go steal everything from them. So that's what the Misinfitins is. It's a little town, but most people don't have that live with everybody. But for some reason, they have these mischievous little Undervelvins that pop out in the middle of the night and steal your left shoe. So that's my idea with these guys. But they do they're really good at partying too. So, which Misfits can throw a pretty good party. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think everybody else has got their own little town that they've been. Anybody that was at Gen Con and anybody that is really committed a good amount of passion to this world got their place in Vincentia. And the Misinfitins is just one of those extra points to my heart to have connected to. And I gave the old wizard a little bit of a grump because I was like, hey, so Misfits are created, where's my town? And then he created a town for me too. So but we have a town that is the entire community, which is a bunch of us chaotic crazy people. So I figured it'd be the best place to have little mischief happening at all times. But thank you, because you are the reason that town is created. So you are the community town of Misinfitins, and you guys will be in the book of the Essenverd. And every time if you are a part of the community and a part of GUI Cube, you'll be able to read that and go, oh my goodness, that is the stream right there. That's the guys. and we'll have some fun with that as we grow, because there's already talk of another show that's going to stem off of that little town, that we might even have some guest players from other GUI streams connecting with that, which is one of our main goals, is to not just make this a tabletop misfits stream, but a community stream where we can add others that are living in the world of Xyothe as well. So I'm really
And
excited.
speaking of which, let's throw it over to Casey to talk about your explorations in the world of Xyothe. And matter of fact, that's what watching your stream was what inspired me to make this big 3D carnival. And
Oh my
after I got the
goodness,
box set,
yeah.
so give us a little bit about your stream and how you got started.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Back in February of 2020, before things kind of got a little crazy, um, I'd gotten connected with GUI Cube and had some players that I'd been running with for a long time, and wanted to see if they wanted to experience the Red Star Rising campaign, and they were pretty excited about that. So I did that, but they all live. I live in Western Colorado, and they all lived on the Front Range of Colorado in the Denver area. I'm actually another who lives down in Texas. Bragnick, shout out to you. But I put it into Roll20 and started going with that, and we were using it on Roll20, and it was a godsend because right after we got started, of course, things started to lock down, and we had the opportunity to run, and everything was locked down, so we had nothing better to do. We were only going to do it like once every 4 to 6 weeks. We would run a little bit. We were running week by week, and I don't even remember why we started to stream it, but we thought this would be fun, something fun to do, to just kind of show it off, because there was the other two streams that had been a part of it had just kind of shown bits and pieces of it, and I wanted to do kind of like a full run through, pretty much just straight from the book, nothing spectacular, just show what the Red Star Rising campaign is from start to finish, and see how it goes, and we did, and we continued to go week after week, and a lot of people would watch it after the fact. We have it on YouTube. It's up there on YouTube, and people come in, and then they'd send me notes, and they would say, this is really great. This give us a lot of inspiration on after the first few episodes.
Well,
we
welcome
got that
everybody
on how I would run it, because my goal was to provide a resource for people who are running this campaign, to watch it as a GM, and then get some inspiration and some ideas from it, how they could take it to their game and be able to do well with it. Because you can read it as a GM, you can read an adventure, and you can get an idea in your mind of how you want to run that, and then your players will shape it. But if you have the opportunity to listen to and or watch somebody else running the same adventure, it really brightens up, and you pull ideas and concepts from others that you can use and tweak in your own, and complement what they're doing with it. And so that's what we wanted to do, was just give that straight run through for people to emulate, in a sense, and learn from. Be a resource for GMs, which is one of the whole points of GUI Cube, is to be that resource. So we did that. We've gotten, over the last year and a half, we've gotten all the way into kind of the middle of chapter 3, and then had to take a hiatus because of life and GenCon preparation and things like that.
Right.
So we've kind of paused for a little bit, but in the since then, gotten involved more with the Misfit group, and we're part of a group that we're a lover of beholders. We're known as the Greater Mole Master Beholder Corps, which has come from kind of a fan nod through actually D&D Adventurers League. A bunch of us that play in the Rocky Mountain region kind of came up with that little group, and we just have fun with it. It's just a club. It's just a group. It's nothing more than just an enjoyable thing to have a bonding connection point with. And but we created the stream through the moniker of the Greater Mole Master Beholder Corps, well, I'll announce this. The Greater Rule Master Beholder Core on the video side of things and the presentation side of things is becoming a partner and a product of Tabletop Misfits. So, we're going to be there with you guys, and become a part of you and make you stronger by the following that we've gained. And when we come back on, we'll be a product of Tabletop Misfits. And then there's some other things that Matt and I are talking about on how we want to get together and and really share some of our passion for things just that go beyond, um, what we do with the world of Xyathay. So we have a lot of things to bring, and I'm really excited about it. But normally, when you see me, I didn't wear it because I'm not doing Greater Mole Masters Beholder tonight. I'm doing a Tabletop Misfits, but I have a hat that I wear around that has a little bunch of eyeballs on it, and
We're gonna have to get
I
you
like to say
we're gonna have to get you a blue one now, so you can have the Tabletop Misfits one.
the, the eyes have it, and the eyes do have this, and we're looking forward to coming back. My guys they're chomping at the bit to play. We haven't played since April, and they want to get back into Chapter 3, and this is where and Corey cussed earlier, so I guess I can. This is where the shit gets real in the story.
Oh yeah.
It really does. So I'm looking forward to getting started back up with them because it's a good group, and I think you're going to be quite entertained by these players. They are phenomenal.
They're going to take my show completely over, and then I just have to produce. I won't have to do anything else for GMing at all. He's going to take it all.
That's good because you're good at. But the thing is that it's a great platform because you have the community that then we can share with, and we can grow from there. So just like you were saying, that's how we grow. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to have to check that out. So if you are really just as I don't know if a lot of people know how Tabletop Misfits was created, is we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to give away the secrets of the modules, but for a game master, these things are wonderful tools to listen to and to understand. So what I would suggest is, if you are a game master, definitely check out Mole Masters Core.
Absolutely.
But if you are
if you
a player,
it's a great resource. If you're a player, do not.
Stay away. Stay away. Far away.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because it is the adventure. It's spoilers for that. But,
so I think what we might have to
GM,
talk.
Talking to GM.
Yeah. So what we might want to talk about is maybe creating a Game Masters Patreon where we can get private connections to certain YouTube channels, such as certain ones that we don't want our players to find, because that's dangerous. Because you don't want to know where the trap is or where the puzzle is, because it can't change in that module, can it? No, of course not. You can't just flip the script and they have no idea what's happening.
You can.
Oh, 100% you can. And don't forget.
I don't want to spoil the story though.
The story
is premium. So.
The story is premium.
But we'll find a way. We'll find a way to make it available for those that can
definitely
utilize it as a resource.
I agree.
That's the whole point.
But yeah, no, Corey, is there any last? And we're hitting last call here shortly, so
I think we're about to last call. Thank you guys for sticking with us and watching the stream. It's nice to see all the stuff. I guess I apologize that we've just kind of rambled about GenCon and been excited about it, but I'm not going to apologize either because it was such a great thing.
It was such a great thing.
Just dripping from us, we're still on that high.
Oh goodness,
still on that high. So we'll be back to our regularly scheduled stuff next Wednesday, giving a lot of tips, giving a lot,
we got a character deep dive next week, Wednesday. We have 2 more characters we still have to take care of. So
okay. So come back, help us do that character generation deep dive for the one shot, and we'll get back to our regularly scheduled stuff. And then, like I said earlier in the show, we got a lot of guests coming on with a lot of cool stuff to share. So, last call, Dave?
So make sure, our biggest goal right now, outside of just, bringing the best stuff we can to you guys, our biggest goal, and the reason I say this because it drives me absolutely crazy, is 100 subscribers on YouTube. I know I'm beating this into you guys, but there's a reason for this, and it's so that you don't see bleh gibberish go off on my YouTube when I send it out to people. It'll actually say Tabletop Misfits, and we can have a community that we're continuing to grow. So you can definitely see that it just bleh out on the and vomits out on my screen, which I don't like. But yes, please. So there are going to be goal markers that have to be met in order for us to that we're hoping that we can meet in order to launch these Patreon exclusive auctions and other things coming up. The last thing I want to bring up, and this is more of a hey audience, blow up my screen if this sounds like an awesome idea or not, and that is, would anybody be interested in an all exclusive, co-DM'd retreat this spring? If that sounds like something fun, definitely reach out to me and Corey because we are planning one for this spring. We're not sure where it's going to be.
If you're in the channel and you've been at one of my retreats, shout out.
It's going to be a little pricey, but it's going to be 3 full days, 2 games per day, 4-hour long. On top of it, we'll have extra one-shots that you can play in. We'll have an area where you can actually go do things and have fun. It's not just going to be sitting in a hotel room. We're going to make sure that it's a resort or something exciting. But we definitely want to know if this is something the community is interested in because we are looking to do these. We want to see what people's interests are, and we want to bring these worlds to life. So if you are interested in that and you aren't on the stream or you hear this later on, make sure that you comment below on YouTube and whatnot so that we know these things are getting heard. And we're going to continue to bring these up as we start to get closer and closer because Corey and I have some crazy ideas that we want to try out this year. So, and Casey, it has been an absolute blast having you here. It is always a good time. Thank you again for the couple one-shots that you ran with us where they were playing the sludge monsters or lemurs, whatever the heck those monster demon things were.
Devils, yeah.
The devils. I know the players had a great time and you guys just caused a lot of chaos, but it was definitely a savior for me because I was out for work, and you're always welcome back on the Tavern. So
thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the invite.
So do you have anything? Last call.
We're talking to you. Last call. I can't thank the James and Corey enough for the contribution, the dedicated and unique individual contribution that each one of them gave to making GenCon a success for GUI Cube. There was a group of around 21 individuals who every single one of them, our quest was to slay the beast of anonymity at GenCon, and to stand out and make a splash. And we succeeded in that quest epically. And it was because of the individual contribution and unique individual and crucial contribution of those 21 individuals. And some of them are right here with us in the Misfits, Austin and Pam and Matt and Whitney and Peter, obviously James and Corey, and then go on to some other names.
Who's Peter?
They're around.
Who's Peter?
Not Peter. Eric Parker. Why did I say Peter?
I don't know.
Parker, I guess.
Peter
That's where
Parker.
my brain was. I don't know where the heck.
Hey!
I'm still exhausted.
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I'm down with that.
And we could go on and on. But so many great people who did that, and that really is my last call of. I can't appreciate everybody enough for what they did to make that a success, and we'll pat them on the back. So that's my last call.
Awesome. So definitely come back next week. We're going to do another deep dive. It's probably going to be our crazy wizard Harden. Long song. It's really bad. Like, you all, if you were there for the last 4, it's got a really horrible name. It sounds like some porn star, but it's going to be a good time. And until then, grab your best drink, have a drink with us next time, and we will see you all on Sunday when we pick up our campaign once again. So, have a good weekend, or have a good week.
What?
Where's my launch?
Salute.